Hello everybody, it's Commander here. I'm here to bring you guys another Commander series video. But before I get started, if you guys do not remember what happened in the previous video, then check the description real quickly. Without further ado, let's get into the details of this scene. So, as you guys know, in the previous episode, towards the end, the Commander received an urgent message from a Marine that this ship, the Commander's ship, has been taken by brutes. So they took a pelican back up, and as you can see, the pelican has dropped off all the Commander's troops in his ship's main cargo bay. So as you can see, they've already engaged the brutes and the other Covenant members in combat. So starting on the left, towards the back, we have two Marines and the Spartan who are trying to keep these swarm of drones and this brute major who are leading them at bay. Behind them, right here, we have Mark, Sarah Palmer, and the Spec Ops commander who are trying to take out that hunter who poses a huge threat to the safety of all these troops back here. We also have a Marine and the commander who are trying to also help out with the drone situation. Moving to this flipped over mongoose right here, we have these two elites who are trying to help reinforce these Marines and the Shipmaster right there. The Shipmaster right here is currently impaling that brute with his energy sword, and this brute right here is trying to help avenge his friend. Behind him we have a dead Marine and a Marine right here who's taking cover, or actually those are pilots. So moving by this cargo right here, we have some brutes who are trying to provide more cover fire and to kind of help reinforce their allies right here. Then back here by this door right here, we have a brute captain who is kind of coordinating all the forces that are defending this area right here. So if the forces on the UNSC side are successful, then they will be able to move on to the inside of the ship, where they will eventually hopefully be able to reach the bridge and take back the ship. So with that being said, let's move on to the next scene. After a lot of fighting, the UNSC and the elites were able to neutralize the brutes in this cargo bay. So starting on the right side, we have a group of Marines who are trying to get through this door right here. However, it is locked because the brutes have locked down the ship. So going back over here, we have the Commander's squad and the Shipmaster who are talking about how they're going to access the bridge so that they can take the ship back from the Covenant. So as you can see, this little cover right here was blown off during the firefight, and right here is a ventilation shaft. So pretty much what Mark is saying to the team is that this ventilation shaft right here leads to a larger service shaft, which eventually leads to the bridge. So the commander and the shipmaster kind of talking, and after a little bit of planning, they decide that the commander's squad will go through the ventilation shaft and to the bridge to take back the ship, while the shipmaster and all the Marines in here, as well as the elites, are going to remain in here and make sure that no brutes decide to reinforce the ones that are already on this ship. So with that being said, let's move on to the next scene. As soon as the commander's squad was finished running through the service shaft and finally reached the bridge, they immediately engaged the brutes in combat. Starting in the hallway right here, we have the Spartan who is currently mowing down that brute right there. We have a dead brute right here who's been neutralized by Mark and the commander, who are in the bridge to the right. And then finally we have Sarah Palmer, who's climbing out of the service shaft right in front of the Spartan. So then, moving to the bridge, we have the commander and Mark, who are fighting a brute captain and brute chieftain. Now, as you can see, the two brutes in here have murdered the first officer and the captain of the ship. And these two are very unhappy about that. So, they were going to fight really hard against these two vile brutes. So, if these two guys win, then they will have control of the ship again, and they will be able to take the ship off of lockdown so that the troops inside the ship can take out any remaining brutes that are inside the ship. So, with that being said, let's move on to our next and final scene. After much fighting with the brutes, the commander's squad eventually won and was able to take the ship off of lockdown. As you can see, 2 Marines have arrived and are making sure everything is okay. So moving on to the bridge, we kind of have a sad scene. The commander's squad are all taking a knee out of respect for the captain and the first officer of the ship, who were murdered by the 2 brutes. They were very close to the commander and Sarah Palmer. So, in addition to that, the commander was third in command of the ship. But since the captain and the first officer are dead, the commander will be forced to take command of the ship. So, during this time, he also got orders from Lord Hood stating that the final Covenant forces on Earth have been pushed to the moon, and that all ships that are on Earth right now are to report to the moon to push out all the remaining Covenant forces on the moon. So, next episode is going to take place on the moon. So, with that being said, I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you on my other videos. Like and subscribe for more, and have a good day.